What's up? Hey, hello, everyone. Wow. So today we are back going to be talking about Survivor season 49, the penultimate episode. Woo! So my name is Rachel.
I'm Alyssa, and it feels like we got here so fast, but also so slow. That's the way time goes, I feel like.
I thought this was a wild episode at the end. Like the 5 minutes was an up and down roller coaster at the end of that tribal council. Like, oh my God, okay, Blue Sophie is going to get voted out. Just regular Sophie now, I guess. She's going to get voted out. It's going to be 4-2. Then it's like, oh no, Rizzo's going to play the idol. And then Sophie's going to get saved. And then no, he's not doing that. Sophie's going home. No, it's unanimous on Steven.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions, and again, I feel like this is one of those things where I always hope that we're going to get more clarification next week, but then it seems like we don't always get a lot of clarification on why certain people voted the way that they did. Because Christina, especially, was so adamantly against voting for Steven and then voted for him anyway. And I'm like, what are we doing, my guys?
It's like what we said last tribal council. It's like, okay, unanimous at final seven. That's a little bit bad, maybe. Sage and Christina seem to be justifying voting Steven because it's like, okay, they want to go to the end with Sophie. Like, they are all more like on an equal level playing field. Maybe you could beat Sophie. They're thinking they can't beat Steven, so we need to like flip and vote him out because they're all thinking that Rizzo is safe and the idol expires this round. So it's like, okay, maybe if you're thinking like that, like you wouldn't want to vote Sophie out if you wanted her in the end. And if you think Steven can beat you, it makes sense to vote him out. But I just think like the numbers aren't numbering. You just put yourself in like a 3-2 minority.
Yeah, we talked about at 7, if you're voting someone out and it's unanimous, half the people are making their own decision. And the same thing is kind of true at 5 because half the people are making the wrong decision here. And I think it's pretty clear which half it was at this point, but we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, I think it's like, okay, maybe in the past few vote outs, something went wrong because it's like, okay, makes sense. You would need Sophie if you think you can beat her, you want to keep her around, but just voting Steven out over Sophie, it's just a little bit bad because I don't think the numbers are going to work in Christina and Sage's favor, especially when like you've got an immunity beast on the other side and an idol holder on the other side. So it's like, okay, you might have to vote Blue Sophie out anyways if the other two probably are immune next week anyways.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting next week because I feel like you said, Blue Sophie is either going to have to win immunity or something bad is going to happen. But mm, mm, mm. Again, this is one of those things where I wish that we had gotten people's logic, I guess you could say, because I can't see a logical reason why some of these people voted the way they did.
Yeah, it seems like it's like you're really banking on Savannah losing immunity at Final Five, so then you can try to vote her out. Because if you make it to four, one person, like two people are going to fire, so it's not even a real vote kind of thing. So it's sort of like maybe since they were all so tricked by Rizzo's idol that you think, okay, Rizzo and Savannah are up for grabs next week, but really neither of them are up for grabs because Savannah can probably win immunity.
Yeah, Savannah also shared her like workout routine that she does. Let me tell you, I will never go on Survivor because I'm not prepared to work out as hard as Savannah did in order to win on Survivor.
Hard work pays off. I'm like, she is killing it in these challenges. Um, yeah, I feel like we said last week, Sophie should have taken Rizzo's idol here. And it's like, oh, even this episode, we hear her and her like grandma talking to her saying, oh no, you should steal his idol. Like you didn't know these people 22 days ago. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just bad.
Yeah, and I agree with Sophie's grandma. She should have stolen the idol, especially because I feel like that would have been more useful to her in this moment in time. I'm also really curious about the lie that Rizzo told about his idol. He said that it expired at 6 instead of expired at 5. I'm confused about how that lie like got wings, I guess. Because he was like, oh yeah, since it was found in the tribe phase of the game. I didn't notice that idols found in the tribe phase and the individual phase ever had different expiration dates, but maybe I'm just dumb.
Sometimes I think it's like some of the Beware advantages might have like earlier expiration dates, but I agree. It's like, okay, you think hidden immunity idol, you think expires at final five. So I thought this was a pretty smart lie. And it's like people can't really fact check or verify it. You might just have to play under the assumption that he's safe at six or five because it might be a real idol that ends at five. Maybe it's like a special idol that ends at six. All that said, maybe you should have tried to flush the idol a little bit earlier so then you don't have this problem now, because basically Rizzo banked the idol this time once again, saves it for next week, final five, the last time you can truly play it, and he's in the final four, and then you just have to make fire.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about this a lot last season, where it seems like the threat of idols is keeping people immune longer and longer. When it's like an immunity idol is meant to be used once and save you for one vote, not keep saving you vote after vote after vote. And part of the reason is that there's not like large enough alliances to split the vote. And I feel like that also kind of goes back to the fact that whenever there is like a large group vote, we do things like this split tribal where
Mm.
like 12 would be a great time to flush out an idol because you have like plenty of wiggle room if you want to do like 5-4-3 or something like that. And so I think part of it is production design is making it harder to split the vote, but part of it is the survivor metagame has become more entrenched and people know that the right move is to do this, that, or the other. So
And I feel like every single season we talk about Final Four fire making, and sort of it's like you really need to only get to Final Six, and then you're sort of like a shoe in for Final Four, and then basically Final Three. It's like the whole end game feels so sped up because of the Final Four fire making challenge. You're getting rid of an entire vote there. It's like, okay, now someone with that idol just has to make it past one more thing, and then they're basically in the finale final tribal.
yeah. So I know I have an unpopular opinion in that I like the final floor fire, but I do think if you're going to do the final floor fire, you need to have a period of time where people are unimmune.
Yeah, and I do think like one or two of Christina, Sage, and Sophie could make final three because I could definitely see Rizzo and Savannah turning on each other and then sending one of them, like the other person, into fire because they probably see like, okay, this other person is going to steal all of my votes. We played a very similar-ish game. Rizzo has the plus of the idol shenanigans. Savannah has the plus of the like immunity wins, but it's like, other than that, people are probably seeing them as like a tight locked duo that I think they're both pretty smart and cutthroat that they vote one of the other out. So it's like, okay, Sage, Christina, and Sophie could make it to the end, but they're not really playing to win.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people have accused Christina of playing for third place at this point, where they're like, oh, she just wants to be the GOAT that gets to final tribal. And, you know, I cannot comment on Christina's mental state while on the island, but I think it's one of those things where part of it is like you do get paid more for being in third place than being in last place. And a lot of people are like, oh, you should play to win so you might get invited back. And it's like, well, the two people who are getting invited back, we already know. So it's like kind of a moot point. So that's my thoughts, at least.
That's true. I wonder if it goes through people's heads like, oh, I probably don't have a chance to win. Let me like be a lame-o and then I can get brought to the end. So I can get like maybe 100,000 or third place, 20, 30, $40,000. That's a ton of money for a month and a half of work. Like, that'd be great.
I'd love to get paid $40,000 for a month and a half of work. I can't think of
Yeah.
many people who wouldn't.
Yeah. So I could see definitely next week Rizzo Savannah turning. One of them goes out in fire, one of them goes on to win the game. And then Christina, Sage, Soph are sitting in two of the chairs there. But it's just like if you're not playing to win, then I don't know. It just this week it's like, why did everyone flip? This was not good.
Yeah. I think of Christina Sage Soph. Soph has the best chance of like actually getting votes from people on the jury. But I'm also a little confused because I feel like several times this season people have been voted out for being huge jury threats, and then it's like we never saw that they were huge jury threats. So I'm really curious if like the jury would agree right now that of Christina Sage Soph, Soph is the one who's most likely to get jury votes.
Yeah, I think that is interesting. To me, I would think maybe Sage goes at 5 because, like, if Rizzo and Savannah are both safe from Idol and Immunity Challenge win, they probably aren't flipping on Blue Sophie. They probably keep her around. I think Sage would be the most next dangerous person just because she could have votes on the other side, like with Jawan and other people she worked with. So maybe you vote her out. I think you keep Christina till the end.
Yeah. I think I said last week that Christina would be the one that I think most people could vote against, but
Yeah, so we get to the reward challenge. You have to go through an obstacle course and then you have to land a bag on a tall pole, and you win a Mexican feast, a night at the sanctuary, and some letters from home. So, a very, very big challenge here. I thought the beanbag pole toss at the end of the challenge was a very good equalizer. Everyone made it there and everyone was tossing their beanbags. So, it's like technically everyone was in it and they could have won this challenge. So I liked that, especially because it is such a big win.
yeah, I like that too. I liked we kind of make fun of the fact that it's always an obstacle course and a puzzle, but I do like that it wasn't just an obstacle course and a puzzle.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, beanbag toss. Some people are like, technically in it, but their beanbag tossing skills were just like really bad. So they're like technically not in it, but everyone was there at the end, not just like two people being really good at a puzzle and then dominating everyone else.
Yeah.
So Savannah wins, and I feel like usually winning this challenge, like a family reward visit challenge, is bad for people because you leave a bunch of people pissed off at you at camp. It's like you sort of almost don't want to win it. Maybe for Savannah matters less because people already sort of dislike her out there. So it's like, you piss them off more, but they already didn't really like you. So it's like, okay, to me, it makes sense to pick Rizzo and then Sophie. And obviously, from the rest of the episode, it made sense to pick those two. But to me, watching, it's like, okay, you pick Rizzo first. You almost have to pick Sophie second. Otherwise, Sophie might flip on you.
Yeah, I feel like I agree that Savannah made the right choice, especially considering the fact that the people that she was scared would flip on her like didn't actually make a move against her. Whatever. I'm not salty about that at all. But I think, like you said, it was the right move to pick them in that order, especially Rizzo's thing about like he always talks about his family. I feel like it's also a good reasoning where it's not like Soph can be mad at her for picking Rizzo first either.
And even Sophie said it. She was like, "Oh, maybe I thought Savannah would do strategy and maybe she would pick someone else. So like I'm honored to like come on this trip with you. Like thank you so much." Yeah, I think strategy wise, maybe you pick Steven here, but then like Savannah said in confessional, why would you give your number one challenge threat competitor food to maybe win the next challenge against you? So then you probably don't pick Steven. And I think you're never going to pick Christina or Sage given how much they like smack talk her. It's like strategy wise to pick someone for the family like reward, you want to pick someone that maybe you could sway into your favor, get in your good graces, maybe make them vote with you because they feel indebted to you. Like you want them to like you more after picking you for this great reward. Sage and Christina never really seems like going to like her, so don't pick them.
Yeah. I feel like it's also kind of hard at this point in the game. Not a lot of people are like switching their allegiances. So that's also kind of like at final six, who really is going to be willing to flip with you?
Yeah, and then it's like you see when people bring someone on the family reward, and then it's like, okay, didn't mean anything to me. Like, thanks for bringing me here, but I'm still gonna vote against you later. Like, it's for $1 million.
Yeah, for sure. I also did find it very funny that when talking about the reward, Savannah was like, okay, whatever, I like my family, but what's really going to get me through is the Mexican food.
I would be the same. I'm like, yo, I saw you people 3 weeks ago. Like, give me the food.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people on like the Survivor Reddit were like, why do people always cry? They saw these people 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, can't disagree. I get that it's an emotional moment, especially if it's been a long time, especially if you're feeling tired and all of that. But I'm also like, come on, man. 3 weeks.
I thought it was also funny when Sage was telling everyone else back at the other camp that it was karma for wanting to vote Savannah out multiple times, that now she's not getting invited on the reward. I was like, I think it's more like karma for having beef with each other. Like, why would someone bring you on this if, like, you say you don't like them?
Yeah, I do think it was funny how Christina was like trying to be like, oh, I don't think this is karma, and Sage was like, I don't think karma is a bad thing. So that was that was kind of funny because Christina was like trying to get on Sage's like spiritual level, and Sage was not having any of it.
Yeah, so at the family letters, we see Sophie saying that this is a sign from God that she shouldn't flip on Savannah and Rizzo. And I was like, wow, this is really $1 million reward because leading up to this, we saw confessionals, Sophie saying, yeah, y'all, it's time to flip. I'm willing to flip. Even last week, she was contemplating flipping on Savannah and Rizzo. After the reward, she's very solidified in, like, I really like these two. We're good friends. I want to go to the end with them.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing also about the right person winning the reward. Maybe if Steven had won and he had taken Soph, she would have been like, wow, I really like Steven and I really want to go to the end with him. So,
Yeah, so at the reward too, $1 million reward. Sophie tells them about the knowledge is power advantage that she's been keeping secret the entire game. And I think for Savannah and Rizzo, this is also really good because it shows that Sophie is truly on board with them. It's like, okay, like we've been working together this entire time, but like sharing something like that when Rizzo has the idol and you could have stolen that, I feel like that's a big bond trusting moment.
big bond trusting moment, but then it's also kind of like, is this going to actually work out? Because as we talked about, Soph should have used the knowledge as power to steal Rizzo's idol, I'm pretty sure. And so, like, maybe it would have been better if she hadn't and then thrown her lot in the other way of like, I'm not going to tell them I have knowledge as power, I'm going to steal Rizzo's idol, which kind of would have defeated the point of, oh, I really like these people, but might have been better for her game.
Yeah, or even like steal the idol, because if you think or know that it's unanimous against Steven this episode, and presumably they must have because Rizzo didn't play the idol on Sophie to save her, and the votes worked out that only Steven's two votes were on Savannah here, or like on what, Sophie here. So it's like, okay, if you know all the votes are going to Steven, you didn't really need to steal his advantage as your big move. Like you could have taken the idol and then if you thought it expired this week, played it this week, or just stolen it for fun.
Yeah. Just for like poops and giggles or to have a souvenir.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a big move, especially when the jury is like all making faces every time that Rizzo's talking about this idol. Like maybe they're annoyed that he keeps on getting away with this and then you steal it from him.
Yeah. Though it would have been better to steal it from him like 3 weeks ago.
So it was interesting also with the family letters. We saw Rizzo got a story about his parents and his brother, a lot of good content. Sophie also got a story about her passed away grandma, so a lot of family content there. To me watching, it seems like we didn't really get a similar story from Savannah.
Yeah, that was a little strange. I wonder if part of it is time, or maybe Savannah's story is really similar to the other two's, or maybe they kind of thought that Savannah's story was like not as sad. And so then Rizzo would be like, my parents immigrated from Albania for me, and like I'm so close to them. And Soph would be like, my dead grandma is like watching over me. And Savannah would be like, my mom says hi. So it wouldn't really be equal. And so maybe they're trying not to make her seem like lame in comparison to the other two.
That's what I was thinking too. Like there wasn't like a super like something bad happened to me story there. Especially like the way she talked about just wanting the food and not really like, it's like, oh, you care about the letters, but it's like less like like kind of about the letters. So that's what I assumed. Like the other two had these like crying stories. She's probably like, yeah, letters, yippee.
Letters, yippee. Especially because she also said, like, oh, I don't care as much about the letters as the food. Maybe it was kind of like a way to continue being like, oh, she doesn't care, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so the losers back at camp, they had to sleep in the dirty camp, whereas the winners, they got to sleep in the sanctuary. And lucky them, because then we see like mice and rats literally running on the people back at camp. And then I was like, ew, this is so gross. Like that'd be so scary. You like wake up to like animals running over you and like squeaking. I'd be so freaked out.
I would, ugh, I would quit right then. I would call Jeff Probst, be like, Jeff, take me off this beach. Like, ugh. At least they're running over their feet because, like, there's a possibility that the rats would run over your face. Ah,
I'd be like, if you're wearing loose clothes, what if it like runs up your pants?
no,
Like it wants a warm place to sleep.
I would perish.
I know. I was like, okay, Christina was afraid of birds. Maybe rats is the next thing. I would be so freaked out if they were running on me. And also, is Christina afraid of chickens? Because a chicken is like a bird looking thing, or only flying birds. We never see Christina chasing the chickens to try to kill them.
That's my conspiracy theory. Christina is afraid of chickens.
Yeah. We have to go look if she ate the chickens. So we also see Stephen telling Sage and Christina that his advantage is a block of votes and not a steal of vote. So we don't see the other two tell Rizzo Savannah's team that his advantage is a block of vote, but I feel like they definitely like had to have shared something if they all flipped later.
Yeah, they definitely have to have shared something, and I want to know what it was. Again, I think sometimes the editors like keep things from us in order to keep the vote suspenseful. Like I definitely think Tribal wouldn't have been as interesting if we heard why like Christina decided to flip on Steven before Tribal. But I'm also like I want to know like what's going on behind the scenes in the game.
I agree. I'm like, our Rizzo and Savannah just got like so much Riz that they're able to convince these people, or like, how are they all flipping? Like, what is happening out there?
I don't know.
So we get to the immunity challenge. You have to stand on one leg and then balance a ball on a long pole thing. Um, Jeff says that Dee won this challenge, lasted 24 minutes, and then she went on to win the season. So I was like, okay, is that foreshadowing? Or he just mentioned 24 minutes because Savannah and Sage last 33 minutes.
Huh. I didn't notice that, but I feel like foreshadowing probably. But
Yeah. I guess technically maybe it wouldn't be called foreshadowing because the winner wasn't announced yet, but leaving it in the edit may be foreshadowing.
yeah, leaving it in the edit might be foreshadowing.
So, something I noticed, Rizzo just seems to be a little bit bad at challenges. I always feel like he's like one of the first few people out, similar to Christina, but I thought Rizzo would be like better at challenges as like a young guy, but alas, he's always like one of the first few out.
I feel like part of it is Rizzo is just like a stick pretending to be a human. And so I feel like he doesn't really have a lot of muscle or anything. And so a lot of these challenges do require like muscle. So
Yeah, maybe it's part of the persona too, because it's definitely like the stuff he says, it's very much sounding like a sort of like teenager meme lord, like in some of the like phrases he talks. So maybe like being like, oh, clumsy, I'm bad at challenges is part of like the meme lord persona.
that is true. There was one thing that Rizzo said this week. I wish that I had written it down. because I was like, this sounds like a Reddit comment. So,
No, literally. Some of the stuff is like so like perpetually on the internet.
yeah. And so I wish that I had written down the exact comment that made me think that, but teenage meme lord definitely is something that I feel like accurately describes Rizzo.
Yeah, and it's rubbing off on people because now even like Steven was saying that's cinema. I'm like, no. I don't think we're like us as like older people, we're not allowed to say that. That's like a 10-year-old word.
Yeah, no.
So it's rubbing off. But Sage and Savannah are the last two people at the end of the challenge battling it out for the win. And then Sage asks Savannah to drop out and give her the challenge win, which I just thought was like wild and so funny. It's like, why would you ever agree to that at final six? And you know, Sage dislikes you.
Yeah, I think especially like I felt bad for Sage because she really was, it seemed like she really was trying hard. But then I'm like, someone can't just drop out because you want to say, like, oh, I want to have won one immunity challenge.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
So,
let's make this equitable. You have already won too. Like, give me this win so I can wear the necklace. But then it's like, okay, you can only really do that, I feel like, if you also are like very I guess, really good at this specific challenge and you're like, no, I could last all day. Like, if you drop, I'll give you a deal or something like that. But I feel like you can't ask someone else to drop when you are shaking already in the challenge. It's like if both people were like standing how Savannah was standing, like super strong, and it's been like an hour. And then you're like, oh, let's maybe cut a deal. Like, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. If you keep me safe, I will do something for you next time. Then that makes more sense to make a deal. If someone's already struggling at the challenge and you're trying to make a deal with a person who's standing with their arms crossed and not even moving, I don't think it's going to work.
yeah, you need to have some leverage, and Sage didn't.
Yeah. So they both did really well, though. They lasted 33 minutes, which is a very long time. And then when Sage drops, I would low key be a little bit mad if I were Savannah because the challenge ends and then everyone is like consoling Sage for losing the challenge. Like low key, I'd be mad. I'm like, no, this is my moment. Like, this is my third challenge win. No one even congratulated me.
You see, the thing is, I feel like because it's her third challenge win, I'm like, okay, I don't care. Like, it's not a historic one. Like, her fourth challenge win will be cool because her fourth challenge win will put her in the like small group of women who are tied at 4 challenges. But her third challenge win is like, okay, we get it. You're good at challenges. Sage is obviously really upset right now. Like, come on.
Yeah, Savannah's one away from tying the record. I think she could definitely get that in like the two challenges next week.
Yeah, I think so.
So good for Savannah. She is always winning these when she needs it, and she is letting her alliance move forward because, like, if she were unsafe tonight, then maybe Rizzo does have to play the idol, and people are actually trying to vote Savannah out.
Yeah. If only.
Yeah, and like we said last week, it does seem like everyone only wants to vote Savannah out. They don't even like care, and they're like, oh, we're not even going to try to split the votes on Rizzo or try to flush the idol. Like, we only would want to vote Savannah out.
Yeah. I guess they dislike Savannah? Question mark.
Yeah, and also voting Steven out this episode, it's like, okay, who's going to compete with Savannah in challenges? It's like you voted Sophie out, you voted Steven out. Those are the only other two people that have even won a challenge this season.
Maybe they're hoping that the next challenge will be something Savannah is bad at.
Yeah, maybe Sage as a competitor.
Maybe.
So I feel like now, like we said last week, Blue Sophie is like the target option to go home because they're thinking Rizzo is safe and Savannah is safe with the necklace. What we said last week. Then we see Sage saying, nah, Steven is my biggest threat in this game. And then to me, it seemed like, okay, last week she voted that way. Like, okay, Sophie's a big threat, and I want to get revenge on for Jawan going home. Here, she's like, Steven is the biggest threat here. And then that's why she flips.
I guess. I do think it's funny that it seems like whoever is, well, obviously the biggest threat is going to change if you vote the biggest threat out, but sometimes I feel like it's just people's justification for doing whatever they want. They can just be like, oh, this person's the biggest threat. That's why I wanted them out.
It's like Christina was actually making more sense here. She said, "No, we need Steven around because like Steven could beat Savannah in challenges." So I was like, "Oh yeah, like that's good logic." Like you need to keep him around because I don't know if anyone else can beat Savannah now.
Maybe they'll do one of those like social challenges where you don't have to actually do anything other than remember things about other people.
True. So we go to tribal council. I thought this was interesting to watch the second time around because now we know that like Christina and Sage are acting and like how much they like Steven, and then the other three are acting and like how much there are actually divides in the camp, and it's going to be like a 3-3 or a 4-2 vote. So I thought that was interesting to rewatch.
Yeah, I think that was interesting to rewatch too, knowing what happens.
Yeah. And so Steven makes some like analogies, metaphors like usual, and he's like, I feel like Shin's in a dark room full of coffee tables, cuts to the jury, and then people are like rolling their eyes.
Yeah, I feel like that one was like trying a little bit too hard to seem funny.
So Rizzo also says, I thought this was interesting. He says, the side that comes out on top of this vote controls the game, which is interesting in hindsight because it's like, okay, is there a side if five people are voting together and one person is left out? But low key, maybe if you look at it deeper, his side is winning, the side of him, Savannah, and Sophie.
I mean, technically, the side that won is going to win the game because one of the five people who won or who voted Steven out is going to win the game. So,
Oh, you're right. It's not really sides. It's like a circle. Everyone is on the side, so I guess they can all win. You're right. It's all
yeah.
five. So Sophie goes to play her knowledge is power and then tries to steal Steven's advantage. Steven says, no, I don't have anything. Really embarrassing for Sophie. And I was wondering, okay, has a block a vote or like any other advantage ever been played before tribal council so it couldn't be stolen? It seems unfair that like this is maybe the first season that that's ever happened in.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
So it's like, oh, that like if it's never been like advantages have never been played before tribal, you would never assume to like think that, you know?
Well, it's also like, how do you declare, like, can you use your knowledge as power not at tribal? Is my question too. Because if you can't
Yeah,
use the KIP before tribal, then, like, it seems kind of unfair because that means that you have to, like, preempt it. Like, you have to know, Steven isn't going to use his block a vote today, but he will use it 2 days from now, so I'm going to steal it now. Kind of not waiting until the last minute to steal an advantage.
yeah, or it's like then you can only steal idols, or maybe idols will be able to be played before tribal council now too. It just seems like it makes it way harder, especially because knowledge is power is already so difficult to even play correctly. It's now like even like handicapped more because now you have to like figure out who has the advantage, and then you have to figure out, oh, is this like a pre-tribal council advantage? Is this a tribal council advantage? Are they passing it off with each other? Like what's the deal?
Yeah, I feel like KIP works best when people aren't thinking about it, so they really should keep it to be like every other season or so, or even maybe less frequent than that, like once every blue moon. Because if people are constantly playing around knowledge is power, I feel like knowledge is power is kind of useless because it's really easy to play around.
Literally. And even more so if you have to play advantages before tribal and you can't even steal them.
Yeah.
So feels bad for Sophie, very embarrassing. You think this is going to be like your big move in front of the jury, and then it gets poo-pooed in your face when Steven says no. I'd be like, nah, I'm quitting right now. Like, please, this is terrible. My winning chances just went down the toilet.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting to see like what the jury thinks of different moves because I feel like in general the jury has been unimpressed with people this season. Like I feel like sometimes the jury gives like Rizzo snake eyes, like side eyes, uh, where they're like, "You're not that funny, dude." And so I wondered, like, did the jury actually think this was that bad? Was it maybe played up? So
Yeah, so I do wonder also like what's going through Rizzo, Sophie, Savannah's minds at this point because it's like, okay, I guess you think that Sage and Christina are working with you, but then Steven says no. So then you assume that Steven passed off the advantage to Sage or Christina. So then you're like, oh, maybe they are lying to us and they're going to vote for us and they're just lying about working with us and they're not voting Steven out here. Like I would be a little worried there, I think. And then you still know when Rizzo after the votes asks Sophie and Savannah like what happened with your vote? Was it blocked or stolen? Savannah is like, okay, my vote was blocked. So then Rizzo knows someone played the advantage. Like, was it Steven or was it Sage or Christina? Like, are the numbers on my side? But then he goes up and then doesn't play the idol. So I'd be wanting to know, like, did he know that Sage and Christina were on his side, or was this just a very ballsy move to not play the idol on Sophie or himself?
I think it was just balls to the walls at this point. One of those things where if he gets voted out now, it won't matter. But if he can pull this off successfully, maybe that's what makes him a winner rather than a loser.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to know what was going through all of their heads. Because even Rizzo in the voting, when he goes up to vote, he's like, okay, so they have 3 votes now, and we have 2 votes. So he's like, oh, I need to play the idol. Then, yeah, I was like, is that fake, or is he really thinking that, or is Sage and Christina with them or not with them? Like, I want to know what their thoughts were here.
Yeah. I also wonder if Steven hadn't said like nope to like, oh, he gave it to someone else, like would that have been better for his side? Well, I guess not, because everyone already voted and everyone already voted for him. But
Yeah, I was like, I need explanations. What was the actual like things happening here, and what was acting?
yeah, but I don't know. Again, I keep hoping we'll get stuff at the beginning of next episode, but it's also totally possible that we're gonna have to wait until exit interviews.
Probably. The jury was so shocked that they flipped on Steven, and me too. I was like, what the heck were the last 5 minutes? Like, that was so wild. I was not expecting it.
Yeah, I was also shook. So
So, the finale is next week, which is so exciting. So, I'm so excited to watch.
yeah, I'm really excited too. Going down from the final five to the winner, all in like 2 hours, though honestly, it's more like 2.5 because they keep shrinking the reunion show shorter and shorter. But I'm really excited
Hey,
for it.
for 50, there will be a live reunion.
If only they had done a live reunion for 25 or 25, 49.
Yeah, so next week with the finale, both of us are very excited to watch. We probably won't be able to podcast about it until the last week of December. So we'll have a little bit of a delayed reaction of our thoughts on the finale. But then I guess we'll be able to listen to all of the exit interviews and maybe talk about more things with y'all.
Yes, it's going to be a very exciting time.
Yeah, so let us know down in the comments your thoughts on this episode. Were you surprised that Sage and Christina flipped? Like, was that shocking? Not shocking for you? Did you think that was a good move or a bad move? Next week for the finale, who do you think is your winner pick? Who do you think's going 5, 4, 3, and 2? Let us know in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and we will